In running a brick and mortar business, we only really have 4 things that we can control. That's it. In all the things that we juggle, running a business, raising some kiddos, being a life partner, all the things, it comes down to really 4 things that we can control. Today's episode, you might want to grab a pen and paper. We're going to get real. Let's do it.
If you're running a brick and mortar business, raising some kiddos, and juggling all of life's offerings, let's be real and call you what you are. You, my friend, are a rebel woman. You've put your blood, sweat, and tears in creating a storefront that lights you up, serves your clients well, and contributes significantly to the community you love. You are my hero. And I'm pretty sure we could sit down and talk shop for hours because I get it. I have a brick and mortar business myself for over 12 years, a handful of kids, and a few passion projects that I love, like this one. Hey there, everybody. My name is Melissa Rose, and I am your visibility coach for brick and mortar businesses who want more clients coming in their doors. I have a passion for helping and serving those who are also living life on the edge, going for their dreams, and creating a legacy through their kick-ass business. In this podcast, we're going to share the nitty-gritty of running a successful brick and mortar business. We're going to share stories, we're going to talk strategy, and we're going to learn practical tips that leave you inspired, empowered, and equipped to create the life of your dreams. Are you ready? Let's get real.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Brick and Mortar Visibility. How are you doing? You guys, we are 6 months away from 2023. Does that just take your breath away a bit? I saw a post that said you are 6 months away from 2023, and I was like, no, wow, okay, here we go. And I'm a big goal setter. Actually, it's one of the most downloaded podcasts that I have is what I do every year for goal setting. And we get to this point, every quarter I revisit where my goals are at. What am I doing? And I'm not really where I want to be right now. And I am going through a really hard season in my business. So I am really, trying to do all the things that I've been taught and coached on throughout the years. So before we dive in, I'm Melissa Rose. I am a dance studio owner. I have a dance membership called Dance on Demand. So it's an online platform for my students and people. I also have this coaching business where I guide other studio owners so that they can be the only option in town. And we have been in business for over 12 years, my studio and I. And every year that we are in business, we have more data to pull from, which is good, which is so good. So for those of you that are newer in business, every year that you keep going, it's so good for you because it creates confidence, it creates momentum, but it also creates a lot of data that you can pull from and go, what was working when you get to those points when you're like, why isn't this working? Before I dive into these 4 traits that you can control, I want to share a story. I have 5 kiddos. Many of you know this. Sophie just graduated. And then Ezra is 9. So I have 5 kids, and I like to take advice from people who have more children than I do. So I have a cousin with 6 kids, and she just blatantly said, when the kids were in diapers and everything was chaotic and you just were running on fumes and money was tight and you were just going, does this get any better? Does this get easier? And she just blatantly said, if it's not one thing, it's the other. If it's not diapers, it's going to be daycare. Then if it's not daycare, it's going to be the school supplies. And then December and May in school. And then you're going to have braces. And then you're going to have like hockey and dance or golf, the sports fees and everything. So if it's not one thing, it's another. Now, you could say that's a bad mindset, or you could just be like, it is what it is. That's life, right? If it's not one thing, it's another. And that is what I am reminded of in business as well. Steve Harvey, I know I've referred to him again, but he put out the quote, the road to success is always under construction. And it just resonated so well with me because that is so true. If it's not one thing, it's another. If it's not, low tuition or low enrollment one season, it's COVID coming and knocking you on your ass. And then it's 2021 when you're still reeling from the aftermath. And now going into 2022 here, we're in the mid-year of 2022, and what's on the horizon, y'all? We have a recession coming, and we have crazy food and gas prices right now. And in our area, we just had a huge hailstorm come through and just like rock people's houses. Okay, so everybody has hail damage. And so you have life's stress, okay, life's things. And if it's not one thing, it's another. So as I was going through my daughter's graduation ceremony a couple weeks ago, I was taking notes. When I hear something, I always write it down. So I pull out my phone and I just take the little notes that I gathered from that commencement speech. And I was reminded that no matter what happens in life, because life is going to happen, it does. And we can control these 4 things. And it just brought it back that this is what I can do on my end, and then the rest I have to let go and let God. So whenever you're going through life or hard times in your business, I want you to remember these 4 things. And I have been leaning into them big time these past couple weeks because I am going through some stuff in my business that I did not expect. It kind of came out of left field. And I'm going, wow. So for those of you that are newer in business, please know that every week, month, and year that you are in business, you now have more data to pull from. Okay, so you're going to be able to pull yourself out of these little slumps of life easier, I believe, because every year that we go on, we have more confidence and we have more proof that we have gone through hard things. All right, and if you are newer and don't have that data or proof, you're going to see other people that have done it, and you're going to lean into them and say, okay, they've done it, I know it can be done, let's do this. All right, so the first one is attitude. Your attitude is huge. Now, don't get me wrong, y'all. There are times, and this happened to me literally about 2 weeks ago, where I was in the fetal position going, I don't know how in the world I can do this. I don't know how in the world I'm going to do this. And questioning everything. And I've been in business for 12 years and I'm questioning everything. So the attitude came after I had a mild pity party. Okay? But then I regrouped and I'm like, nope, we got this. We're going to figure this out. And my attitude changed. But sometimes you do have to take a moment and have a pity party, okay? So I did. There was a good 24 hours that I just was quiet. I was very quiet. That's what I do. I just get quiet, and then I slowly reach out to my real core group of friends, and they know what to do and say to me, all right? So attitude is everything. And then the next thing that we can control is our thoughts. Now, you could say, Melissa, that's the same thing, attitude and thoughts. For me, attitude is your mindset behind it, all right? I can do this. I've done this before. I have proof that that I've gone through hard stuff. For me, the thoughts are, what am I going to do, okay? Having those creative thoughts of what is going to help me get through, all right? So is it a plan? And that's what happened to me. So no, Melissa, you've gone through some really hard stuff before. Every year you freak out. This happens to be a year that's a little harder than others. So you can do this. Now, what are we going to do? And I just wrote out a game plan. I just brainstormed. I'm like, what can we do? What can we do? How can I do it different? Then that brings me to our actions. So I wrote down all my thoughts of, okay, what can we do? How can we do it? Where can we do it? Where can we show up differently? How can we show up differently? Who can we connect with? All the things. And then we had the actions. All right? Actions are huge. You can think, you can pray, but if you are not doing the work, it's not just going to show up. All right? So doing the action, and then the effort is the fourth thing. What is the effort behind it? So are you doing the action just once, or are you going for it? You know this, you've heard this, that 80% of the work is done in the last 20% of the time, okay? And I'm speaking to you mamas, you know that, okay? When you have that baby, the hardest work is the last little bit, right? It's the hardest. And the same thing with anything. So we had this push that we had to do in our business. We had enrollment that was lower than ever. And I had tracked my numbers for the past few years, okay, since I really started taking my business seriously. And I was looking at my past numbers and going, oh my gosh, we are lower than we have ever been. What is going on? This should not happen. This should not be the case. So I had to create a game plan. And then we had to take action. And then the effort behind it was with everybody. My team was fully engaged. First of all, they were communicated to. I was very real with my team, sharing with them where we were at. And I was very able to share exactly where we were at based on past years. So they got to see and hear that this is different, things are different, and we need to rally a bit more. And when I say my team, I mean everybody, but mainly my leadership team. I have a group of 3 people on my leadership team that I am more vulnerable and share a lot more of the nitty-gritty of the business, all right? And together with them, we came up with this game plan, all right? So we had the action. And then the effort was magnified by including my teaching staff and my network, leaning into my network. So there was full-on effort. We did all the things that I thought of and they collaborated with on the thought process, and then the actions were magnified because we involved as many people as we could. And then we were able to let go, let God, because we did what we could control. The good thing is about it, we had a huge swing, okay? Huge swing in the right direction. But 2 weeks ago, y'all, it was scary. And there are going to be more times like this. And it was just a great reminder that the only thing I can control are my attitude, my thoughts, my actions, and my effort. And that goes down to business, it goes into relationships, it goes into kiddos, raising kids, it goes into everything. So when you are faced with situations or seasons or difficult moments, just take a deep breath. And if you need to reverberate, as I say, or just be quiet, that's okay. But know that when you come out of that moment, you have 4 things that you totally can control. And you have the ability to turn things around based on those 4 things. So how does that make you feel? Do you feel empowered? Do you feel lighter? Do you feel like, okay, a breath? I know when I heard those 4 words, reminded to me 2 weeks ago, just in time, right? Just in time for when I needed them. It was a breath for me. It was, okay, I can do this. So no matter where you are in your business, whether you're just starting out, maybe you've been in business 5 years, maybe you've been in business 15, 20 years, they are good reminders that we are going to continue to deal with life, ups and downs, and we can do this by controlling or reminding ourselves that we can control our attitude, our thoughts, our actions, and our efforts. If you got anything out of this episode, I invite you to screenshot it and share it to your stories, tagging me, so that way I can shout you out on social media as well. If you haven't already, please leave an honest rating and review over on Apple iTunes. That is where more people can learn about brick and mortar visibility, and I would really appreciate it. It also helps me, you guys, understand what resonates, what content resonates, I know I can look at my downloads, but when people leave reviews, that means you actually listen to it, and I can get an honest feedback, which is so helpful in what I put out on the podcast. And if you're not part of the Rebel Women Tribe, I invite you to come on over there. That is over in Facebook. It's over on Facebook. It's a group I have of other brick and mortar business owners, and there you can share who you are, what you do, and who you serve. I also come in and share with you some tips that I am learning in my business, and I get to share a little bit more raw and real and in the moment over there. So come find us in Facebook world at the Rebel Women Tribe, and I would love to meet you there. If you are a studio owner and wanting to be the only option in town and would like some free resources, I have a couple of workshops that are linked here in the show notes. I also have one-on-one coaching, and if you are interested in scaling and growing your business with a team and maybe some online services and want to know how to do that and best practices in how to grow and scale so that you can have more bank in your bank account and more time with your family so you can be completely present with those you love, grab my 20-minute call. This is where we can connect and you can ask some questions. You will go away or walk away with some help in your business. I guarantee it, because I just cannot help but serve and give and guide. But it will also give you an opportunity to see if one-on-one coaching is right for you. So I invite you to check that out if you are interested. I have 6-month and 12-month packages for one-on-one coaching. All right, everybody, I'm super excited to be back next week. We have a stellar guest on the podcast all about marketing to millennials. You will not want to miss it. In the meantime, have a great week. We will see you here same time, same place next week. Peace. Bye-bye.